I'm 75 years old, and a few weeks ago my granddaughter asked me what my favorite memory was. I just sat there in this old armchair, and I couldn't answer her. Not because I've forgotten things. My mind is still quite sharp, thank goodness. I couldn't answer because when I looked back, it felt like I was watching a film of someone else's life. All the big moments. My wedding day, the day my son was born, my retirement party. They're all there, like photographs in an album. But I can't feel them. I can see the smiling man in the pictures, but I don't know where he was in his head. And that's a terrible thing to realize at my age, that I was never really there for any of it. If my story resonates with you, I'd appreciate it if you'd let me know in the comments. It helps to know someone is listening. For most of my life, I thought being present meant just showing up. I went to work every day for 45 years at the same accounting firm. I provided for my family. I was a good husband, a good father. At least, that's what I told myself. Being responsible was my purpose. I'd come home from work, and my wife, Sarah, she'd be in the kitchen. She would ask about my day. I'd say, fine, busy, and then my mind would already be on the next day's ledger or a problem I hadn't solved. I was always planning, always thinking one step ahead. It seemed like the right thing to do, the responsible thing. My son, David, he used to build these incredible cities out of wooden blocks in the living room. He'd spend hours on them, and he'd say, "Dad, come look, come see." I'd walk over, glance down for a second, and say, "That's great, son. Really great," but I wasn't seeing the city. I was seeing the clock on the wall and thinking about the bills I had to pay or the lawn that needed mowing. I was in the room, but my mind was 1,000 miles away. I thought that was just what it meant to be a grown-up. You carry the weight of the future on your shoulders, and you don't have time for little wooden blocks. It wasn't one big mistake, it was a million tiny ones. A million little choices to be somewhere else in my head. Sarah would be telling me about a book she was reading, her eyes all lit up, and I'd be nodding along. But really, I was just waiting for a pause so I could go back to the paperwork I'd brought home. I remember her face sometimes, how the light would just fade a little, but she never complained. She just accepted it. I think she thought that was the man she married, the serious, dependable one. There were so many family dinners where I was just a body in a chair. My family would be laughing, telling stories, and I'd be mentally running through my schedule for the week. I missed the jokes. I missed the small worries they shared. I missed the life happening right in front of me because I was so busy planning for a future that it turns out I wasn't even preparing for properly. Because the future isn't about having a bigger house or a better car. The future is built on the memories you're making right now. And I was building nothing. The turning point came quietly. It wasn't a dramatic, movie-like event. It was about 6 months after Sarah passed away. She was sick for a long time, and I took care of her. I was a good caregiver. I managed her medications, I drove her to appointments, I made sure she was comfortable. I did all the tasks. I was efficient. I was responsible. But after she was gone, the house became so silent. And in that silence I started to remember things. I remembered the last time we sat on the porch. She was watching the sunset and she said, "Isn't it beautiful, John?" I remember saying yes, but what I really remember is thinking about whether I'd locked the back door. I wasn't watching the sunset with her. I was running a checklist in my head. That's when the dam broke. All these moments came flooding back, not moments of failure, but moments of absence. Her hand on my arm that I barely noticed. My son's championship baseball game where I spent half the time checking work emails on my phone. Decades of my life just gone. I was the ghost at my own feast. I had provided everything except the one thing that truly mattered, my attention, my presence. And you can't get it back. That's the hardest part. You can't call up your son, now a grown man with his own family, and say, "Hey, do you remember that wooden city you built when you were 6? Can you tell me about it again?" I'd like to actually listen this time. The moment is gone, it's gone forever. You can't go back and hold your wife's hand while she watches her last sunset and just be there with her, with no other thought in your mind but the warmth of her hand and the colors in the sky. All that success I worked for, the promotions, the respect at the office, it feels like dust now. My colleagues don't call. The company I gave my life to set a polite card when I retired. It's all gone. What's left is this house, full of echoes of a life I heard but never really listened to. The loneliness isn't just about being alone. It's about realizing that I was alone even when the house was full, because I chose to be. So if you're listening to this and you're young or even middle-aged, please just listen to me. Don't make my mistake. Your life is not the report you have to finish, or the meeting you have to prepare for, or the future you're constantly planning. Your life is the little hand tugging on your sleeve. It's the story your partner is trying to tell you, even if it seems unimportant. It's the taste of your coffee in the morning sun. It's that moment right now, this one. Don't trade it for a future that might never come, or one that will be empty when it arrives. I thought I was being strong and responsible. I was just being absent. I'm trying now. When my granddaughter comes over, I put my phone in another room. When she tells me about her day, I look her in the eye and I listen to every word. I try to feel the moment. It's hard. It's like learning to use a muscle that has atrophied for 75 years. But I'm trying. I don't have many moments left, but I'm determined not to be a ghost in them. Thank you for letting me share this. A dear friend of mine put his life's wisdom into a series of books. He understood these things far earlier than I did. If you're interested in his perspective, you can find a link to his work in the description below. If what I've said has meant something to you, perhaps leave a comment. It helps to know these words found a home. And whatever you do before you click away from this video, before you scroll to the next thing, just stop for a second. Look around. Are you here, really here? Because this moment is the only one you've got. And it's already passing.